No, I can understand that, but I mean, some women, because I don't think we really factor in that there's that trust issue. If they've been getting to the bag themselves for so long, and then they enter a marriage, there are some men that says that you need to be able to do whatever your husband needs you to do.
If you're broke when I meet you, you don't stand a chance. Because
What's broke to you? What is define broke?
you make less than double what I make.
Less than double.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a shit ton,
Okay.
but you should be making double what I make. That being said, it's because I've held broke men down. I've been played by broke men.
Okay.
And personally, it doesn't pay off. So I won't do it again. And it is what it is. It's not hard to find someone who makes twice what I make. I personally attract people who make like a whole spectrum. That being said, if you are broke and I choose to deal with you, I will belittle you. It is what it is. And I reserve the right to do that. And also, if you want to cheat at your own risk, I'm apt to ghost you. And it is what it is because men who make more money than me, they treat me with that same power dynamic.
If he's broke, he better know his purpose.
Ooh.
What is your purpose? I feel like if you know what your purpose is and you follow your purpose, that will lead you to all the resources that you need to make things happen for you in your life.
Have you ever tried to build with a broke man that was trying to get his life together? And have you ever sat back and looked at how you were treated, how you were talked to?
That
because
part right
that man
there.
felt like he didn't have it or he was less than, even though you tried to pour into that man.
So
no, honey, you're not this
it
and that.
happens to the man internally.
That's what's
where
always-
next thing you know, he becomes
it's not just money.
emotionally
It's
unavailable.
a lot deeper than that. It's how you act when you don't have money.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, well, if you do have money, how are you spending that money? There's a lot of men that have money. I was in a relationship with a man who had money who wanted to spend his money outside of the damn household. You're not putting the money into the household. So
Was that a coping
it's
mechanism?
not just you having money. It's a lot more that goes into it.
I think part of the issue too when it comes to the conversation about men and women and finances is it's not that we're saying that money is completely alleviated, not important. It's not that we're saying that. I think part of the issue is these dudes come out the gate leading with money and then get upset when they can no longer provide that.
And I could make all the finances for a house, but if you're loyal to me, I'll stay.
And this is what happens when we give people the permission to settle. And it costs us longer in the long run. So for me, I'm sorry, it's going to be a no. It's not about the finances, but it is about the effort.
But if they've already been doing that their entire lives, then does it logically make sense for a woman to be able to stop her career at that point, or does she have to be married for a certain amount of years and develop some type of trust, him put together a plan before she's able to stop that career?
I think
So,
fear plays a large part in that. Like
I want
fear.
to get some other folks in there too,
sorry,
y'all.
go
Make
ahead.
sure y'all share that mic. Let's get
so
True and Nash in there.
I actually did have this conversation. So I'm not sure if a lot of the viewers know whatever, but I was legally separated and we got back together in January. But so right. um and I got a lot of stuff that's like basically popping off with like movies and podcasts outside of this or whatever, and doing like some like directing and things of that type of nature. And we kind of gave it a time frame, like, all right, if it don't pop off where you want it to, you get what I'm saying? I'm gonna just stop that. Because I do have a goal and a vision for myself. So we gave it by like 39, 40. If it's not where I want it to be, then it's just like I'm gonna just kind of like wash my hands with it and call it quits, and kind of put more of my energy into his business, even though I do that, but it's not like full time. So um he kind of we kind of met each other halfway. We're just like, I'm still getting what I want, he's still getting what he wants, just putting like a time frame on it. That's it. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Go ahead, True.
Um, I don't know how to tackle this. Okay, I'll tackle it from this perspective. I think our community has a romanticized perspective on men handling, the finances, women having this soft life or whatever term we're using now. And I think Amir kind of launch this perspective by saying that the landscape of how we go about living and how we share currently now in the workspace. I think I spoke to that actually the last time I was up here, and it proves a point. Coming from someone, I've been retired 4 years now. Retirement is not retirement just means you don't have to clock in. No, you get to own your time. That's all it means. And I think that sometimes we get caught up on this idea that was sold to us that as an adult, you're going to get to a point to where you get to coast. Maybe, but I really believe that's the way that things are set up. As an able-bodied adult, male or female, you're going to be working in some capacity. And I think that you and that man need to figure out what works best for your household. I think that for whatever reason, the women of our community covet this idea of being taken care of. And I think Ash touched on it earlier. I think that's a trauma response. I think that there's so much brokenness in this that is hyper focused on, I need this man to come in and be Superman. I need him to come in and ultimately alleviate me from life, lift me off the ground, eliminate pressure. That's never going to happen. If you are an able-bodied adult woman and you have a good man, that man's going to put you to work. Work may look different for you. It may not be at the job, but like Amira was saying, she cleans all day. Then after she cleans, she may read. Then after that is whatever. So if you're always going to be in a servitude capacity to some degree. That's this idea that as a woman, I'm going to arrive at a place where I have to do nothing is a fallacy. It's a lie. And I digress.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I don't understand the logic of how in this conversation, this 50-50 thing, we always bring up what other cultures are doing, as if y'all didn't talk to every single person in that culture. It's mind-blowing. This again goes back to the fact that everybody wants to be victims. It's so embedded in our culture that is insane. Do what works best for you. It's tough out here. We just went through probably the hardest 4 years financially ever. Me and my old lady, we was just looking at the credit card debts. It's through the roof over the past 4 years. Everybody is struggling, but yet somehow, some way, we as Black people, we're still the only ones talking about this 50-50 shit, and we're at the bottom of the totem pole. That makes no sense. So I say that to say this: do what works best for you. That's it. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about what Susie and JoJo down the block is doing. Stop worrying about what Raul and his wife and who cares? Worry about your own.
I don't care.
Because the comparison is not going to get us anywhere. Me personally, I know how to make money, right? My old lady, she know how to manage it. We make it work. Who cares who pays the most and who? So what, bro? Let's get what we got planned and get it done so that we can achieve the goals that we want to and pour into our communities and pour into our families, instead of sitting back and having this conversation of, oh, well, black men, the only one talking about 50-50. Who cares? Let the shit go. Let's grow up, be adults, and worry about what's going on in your own household.